welcome to tonight's beer review, which I'm dubbing the Palaka beer review because I'm wearing a Palaka shirt. I like wearing Palaka shirts. You don't see me wearing like nice shirts much on my reviews anymore because I'm home when I'm doing it, and I just wear my single white undershirt. And some people have posted saying that that's kind of gross, but I don't care. When you only got like 10 viewers, you know, and like I said before, I'm not really doing this for viewers. Some family watches this, some random people, which I'm eternally grateful for. Thanks for watching this random idiot from Hawaii drink beer. But you know, I'm not really interested in getting a huge audience. But on to tonight's beer. This is from Lagunitas, and this is the Hairy Eyeball Ale. Now, one thing about Lagunitas is, you know, while they put the IBUs and the gravity on their beers, along with the ABV, they usually don't tell you what style it is. So, Lagunitas is brand new here in Hawaii, so I didn't know what style it was. I asked the clerk, he didn't know what style it was. Came back, looked on Beer Advocate, and it's under the style American Strong Ale, which is pretty much where you sort of dump every sort of kind of amped up beer that's not a stout, you know, an imperial stout or a barley wine. So let's read the label, shall we? Laying there, staring up at the ceiling, head pounding, last night was a dim recollection. How did he get home? Was he alone? Looking to the left and right, the answer was yes, maybe. His head was full of ragwater, bitters, and blue ruin. His teeth felt like he'd been chewing aluminum, and his breath smelled like a burning tractor fire. There was a wrenching knot somewhere between his liver and East St. Louis that he couldn't be sure whether or not he'd wet himself. A yellow sine wave rang in his ears so loud it made his teeth itch, and he was sure that if he touched his skin anywhere, it would induce a rhythmic, retching jag. Even in the face of all that, he found himself smiling at the realization that today represented the fresh breast of a new year, an undiscovered country, and also that there was one warm, half-full, flat, redolent, hairy eyeball on the nightstand. Yes, there is a God. Call us sometime. So, 9.1 ABV. This is amped up. Going to be trying it in a stout glass tonight. Let this warm up a little bit, but it still might be a bit cold. You want this at imperial stout temperature. Don't want to step on that. Whew. For lack of a better word, I'm going to say that this is Dr. Pepper colored, because color really reminds me of Dr. Pepper. You know, that sort of deep reddish brown with a tinge of purplish. Head is beige and thick. Not much visible carbonation. Interesting notes there. A lot of stone fruit. There's some earthy and herbal hops that kind of float above what's a really strong malt base there. Really intense graininess. It's not smelling like a bread or cracker. It smells grainy. Sweet smelling too. And hints of treacle and molasses. Ooh, very thick mouthfeel. Very thick. Very viscous in the mouth. Despite the thickness, there's enough carbonation there that it still feels prickly. Very much a malt show here. It leaves just this incredible chewiness, and I've used that word in the following review, but this is really chewy, grainy, thick, brown breadedness in the finish, with just a hint of hops bitterness. In the front, there's almost like cola notes to it. In the mids, that's where you kind of get the most hops bitterness, but it kind of fades in that finish, leaving more of a malt finish. And not really a sweet malt finish, there's quite a bit of dark malts in there. So like I said, very much like brown bread, biting into a good loaf of pumpernickel. Kind of on the boozy side, especially in the mid palate. Just get this whiff of booziness that flies up into your nasal cavity. I can't underestimate how thick it is. When I say it's chewy, it really feels like you're going to be chewing on this thing in your mouth. It is incredibly viscous. It's thicker than some imperial stouts I've had. Let's put it that way. What's the gravity on this? Original gravity 1.090. Pretty high gravity. Now that I'm thinking about it, there's actually quite a bit of hops in there to go and give it that backbone for that overwhelming malts in the thickness. You know, so that neither of them really kind of come out. They're almost perfectly balanced, so that there's no heavy cloying sweetness to the malting, nor resiny, that sort of imperial pale ale hop finish, lasting hop finish. You're just sort of left with a sort of bitterness, just slight resiny bitterness on the tongue, along with a bunch of malts. And no cloying sweetness, which is kind of amazing. You kind of taste the sugar in it, especially at the front there, before those alpha oils hit in from the hops. And it just provides this sort of wonderful balance. This is definitely a sipping beer. No chugging on this, that is for sure. Very nice tactile senses are going on here with that sort of thickness, along with that still pretty present carbonation. The only real downside of this is that while there's a lot of distinct stuff playing around in the nose, there's not really much unique flavor popping up on the palate when you drink it. It's sort of mushy there, in that no really strong, distinct flavors kind of come to mind. Still very well made. Very well balanced. When you drink it, you just kind of have to be in awe of how well they kind of got that ratio of hops to malts, considering the incredible density of it. So that it comes across as drinkable. Again, it really is kind of striking how this is very thick and dense. There's this burst of sweetness in the front, and then just really balance in between the malts and the hops. We're getting a lot of those less sweet malt notes due to that hop bitterness. Again, not much dimension to it, but I'm not going to strike it against them. While this hasn't blown me away like a little something something did, it kind of goes to show me that Lagunitas really knows how to craft a good beer, if not probably the most striking taste notes, that I've had so far. Like I said, haven't tried everything that they're offering because they're just new to Hawaii. Now the good news is, this is ridiculously cheap, even in Hawaii. This bomber here, under $5, if you can believe it. At a 9.1 ABV, under $5, that's like Ken's teeth. This is like the same price as one of those gigantic, gas cans of Foster's, and a hell of a lot higher quality. So, due to the price point, and due to the quality of the beverage, like I said, very interesting. Some slight, areas that it could be improved. Not saying that I could improve it. Like I said, with these sorts of extreme beers, it's very difficult to even get something that doesn't have off notes. But again, I guess as for my first strong American ale, it was a great introduction, and I'm looking forward to comparing it to other American strong ales. That's your beer review for tonight, folks. Cheers.